attention that some folks think I have a pig in the kitchen. Well, I thought it might be time. I thought it might be time for you to meet Bobby. Bobby is the one you hear making all the grunts and groans. He's my sweet boy. He's old and he likes to stay in the kitchen when I'm cooking. So this is our Bobby. Hello, my sweet boy. He loves his mama. Yes, he does. Okay, so that's the pig you think you hear in my kitchen. Well, welcome to Debbie's back porch. You might see that I have a kind of a mess here, and that's because I'm in the middle of making pies. And I'm making 2 pies, but right now I'm making just the one. So I still have my pie mess out. We're going to make an egg custard, an easy egg custard that my mother gave me the recipe for a while back. And I was never quite sure where she got it, but it's a really easy recipe and one that can be made low carb. I already have my pie crust made, so I'm just going to take you through the process now of making the custard. This will take a little while and I'll show you all the steps, but you won't have to watch everything. I have right now 2.5 cups of milk on the heat, and what I'm doing here is scalding the milk. And if you've seen that and never quite knew what it meant, because for years I didn't know what it meant, to scald the milk is to bring it almost to a boil and then turn it off and let it cool a little bit. And when it starts getting bubbles around the outside, I will turn it off the heat and set it aside while I make the rest of the steps for the custard. So I'm going to come back to you when this starts, just right before it comes to a boil, when it first begins to bubble from the heat, and then I'll show you the next steps. Okay, our milk is just at the right spot. You can see we're getting little bubbles, a little bit of steam is coming off, and I'm going to move it off the heat. Unfortunately, that's going to be in our way. So what we're making is a custard. What you always have in a custard is eggs and milk and sugar and vanilla. And so we're going to start with the eggs. And I always break my eggs one at a time to make sure that the egg is good. And I want 4 whole eggs. I could do the thing where I float the eggs first, but this is quicker. Okay, so we've got 4 good eggs, and I had no doubt because we just brought those in from the backyard. Our girls are really good. And we're going to beat these eggs until they're nice and creamy. You could do this with your mixer. I just end up doing most things by hand because by the time I take the mixer apart and wash it, it's twice the work. If I were making something big, or making a lot of pies, I would pull the mixer out. So I'm going to beat them until they're kind of foamy. So far we have 2½ cups of milk scalded, 4 eggs beaten. Then we're going to add 3/4 cup of sugar. Full disclosure, I am using Splenda. The recipe calls for 3/4 cups sugar. Mix it good. This is why I said earlier in my pie crust video that I can make these fairly low carb. Now the crust is not low carb, so it's up to my willpower to leave it on the plate. Now we need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And we need a teaspoon of vanilla. Now, stirring continuously, we're very slowly going to incorporate the scalded milk, which is still pretty warm, into the egg mixture. And the constant whisking is, of course, to keep the eggs from cooking in spots. And no, I do nothing well with my left hand. Now this is a really easy custard recipe. The only thing you could do wrong that I know is to put the milk in too quickly. Not very much of it left. I'm going to pour it on in. Let's give it just a little taste. Okay, here is my pie crust that I made earlier. It's been refrigerated for about 20 minutes. I brushed the bottom with melted butter and then refrigerated it. And that's in order to make a protection, a barrier until things start heating to help keep the bottom crust from getting soggy, which is a problem with custard pies. So the things you do to help prevent that are you coat the bottom of the crust, you refrigerate your crust, you use a glass or a dark metal pan, and I will set this on a cookie sheet. I'm actually going to set it on a pizza pan and then put it into a preheated oven. This will be a very full and very soupy pie. My oven is preheated to 400 and it's going to cook for about 45 minutes. And when it's done, we will come right back. Well, here we go. 1 egg custard pie, all ready to go. Now this has to cool at room temperature, not chilled, for at least an hour before you cut it. And a little bit of the puffiness will go down, but we'll come back in about an hour because you know I'm going to have a bite. Well, it's been right at an hour. I've been really good. I'm here with a messy kitchen and a pie that I couldn't eat. So let's see what we got. Now, I should have and didn't put a piece of aluminum foil around the edge of the crust to keep it from getting quite so dark. Let's see what we've got. We'll cut a piece for Fred. And you can hear the crust crunch when you cut through it. As I say, it's a custard. It doesn't stay crispy like the top part of an apple pie would. Well, I didn't cut all the way through. Hold on. And if you'll see, the pie is not nearly as high as it was when we took it out. That's normal. It goes down. So here you have very creamy egg custard. I hope you can see that custardy texture. How it stands up and shimmers. It is gonna be so great. Still warm, and it is so luscious, and it is low carb. Thank you for joining us on Debbie's Back Porch. Hope to see you again soon.